let's make sure you introduce yourself. We're new friends. We just met in real life here for the first time. So, what brings you to the Northwest? How'd you get here?
I I drove here in a car from Central Coast of California. I love pinball, and my name is Joel.
Okay. And you brought a project here that I'd never seen in real life before. Like, describe what the project is here and the backstory on it. Like,
I would like to thank you, Aaron,
okay,
Fast Pinball, for having me. So thank you. If everyone could give it up for Fast, please.
they're over
There was-
there. I'm just one of them.
Well, there's other people here. Northwest Pinball
Right there.
Arcade
There's one
Show.
over there.
Thank you. I really appreciate. This is awesome. This is bigger than Expo.
Well, it's fun to see, like, we've got the homebrew row over there that we're sponsoring. We want to just get everybody here, right? So you were already coming up on a vacation, and the idea of like being able to make a little sidetrack over to a pinball show, like, how'd you sell that one?
This is my idea of a vacation, not the young lady back there's.
Thank you for letting us nerd out together on pinball. Appreciate it. Okay, so I've learned a little bit about your game, Boys Night Out. Like, I was really interested to know like how you got to the idea of making that pinball machine. Like, share a little bit about like what it was to actually have that be a theme you used. I mean, you're pretty involved in the theme itself.
This is true. Can we go back further?
As far as you want. This is
Okay.
This is your 10-minute.
I'm a great example of somebody who built a pinball machine that maybe shouldn't have. I'm not an engineer. I'm
Okay.
not a brain surgeon, and I don't design games.
Okay.
I drive for a living. I used to make films for a living.
Okay.
So, does anybody here want to make their own game? You got two people. I am your hope right here. This is the reason you are going to make a game. This takes dedication, right?
So okay. So again, for the people that don't know, the theme is based on a film you did, correct?
Correct. Yeah, it's a film that I wrote, shot, and co-directed with
Okay.
the young lady.
So again, when we look at all the different ways we get to actually making pinball, right? Years ago, there was a group out of Bellingham that like they took a combat playfield and they put new game code on it and had a lot of great music with it. And I was like, that's really cool. At the show was when I found out that they wrote the music, recorded the music, and then put that into the game. So I mean, there was all that extra work, but as musicians, that was the easy part. So your path to getting to pinball, you actually produced the content that was actually based on. That's a different route to get there.
Zero intent of ever turning into a pinball game. I
Okay.
wasn't even into pinball when I shot that movie.
Okay, so then how did it get to a pinball machine? That's intriguing to me.
I heard people could make these things in their basement, and I was like, that is the coolest thing I've ever heard of in my entire life. And I caught this pinball bug, and I was like, I want to do that someday. And then after 2 years of saying that, I was like, why not just start it right now? I
Okay.
had some extra time, got laid off because of some bug that was floating around.
Right.
So yeah, I was like, okay, I'll just try and go for it all in now. So,
Very cool.
and I thought it would make a quirky pinball machine. It's, you know,
So like this is the first game. This is your first chance building things. Like what would you ever do it again?
I'm doing it again.
Okay.
It's crazy as we speak right now. I'm thinking about it.
There you go.
It
Okay.
possesses my brain. It's not underneath the table.
Okay. So you described how getting into pinball was like totally new for you on so many angles and stuff. And we've asked everybody like, what's the part of the process that you loved least? Like what you despise? You would never want to do that part again.
Everything. I didn't know how to solder. I didn't know how to crimp wires.
Okay.
I didn't know any of this stuff. I don't know how to code. And what's the deal with all the hate on Mission Pinball?
Where's the hate?
Someone said something about them. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't even have been able to make my own
There you
game.
go. I
So
think
thank
pretty
you
much
to Mission
everybody in
Pinball.
here, a high portion of it, use that as a tool to make pinball machines. So it's pretty rad.
And I don't even speak that language. When I ask people for help, I'm like, I'll just have to decipher what they said the way my brain will understand, and I'll try and get it to work on the computer thingy.
Okay, so it sounds like you get into pinball because like I got some time. Seems like an interesting project to do, and really it sounds like there was a lot of learning that you did along the way. So
yeah.
we talked about what is the part you don't like doing. What was the what of the things you've learned through making pinball? Like what was the most pleasant part of that? Like what new skill do you have now that you didn't have then?
Everything I just mentioned, soldering, crimping, 3D printing. I never wanted a 3D printer. I never wanted to do any of these things, but if you can make it yourself, like, wow,
Right.
that's a pretty cool thing, right?
Very cool.
So everything, and everything that I hate, I also love too, by
Yeah.
the way, because it's a part of me now.
I think that's a big part of that's a lot of the motivation for all of us. I love the necessity to get a new tool. Like I've borrowed this tool enough. I need to just have my own, I mean, it's like all the board work that I do. I used to borrow Dave's microscope and his better tools. I was so proud of the time when I needed to have my own microscope, so I would, be able to be more productive and stuff. So getting new tools to do and make new things and stuff like that, that's all pretty fulfilling, I guess. So looking at your next game, okay, that's spinning around in your head, like what is the new I don't know, quest to learn a new skill that's in that space? Are you implementing anything in there?
More wire forms. I love wire forms. So yeah, I want to learn how to weld a lot better.
Okay.
Manipulate metal, push it around.
Very cool.
Yeah.
It's funny. I was playing the Boys Night Out game, and
that's the name of my game, by the way.
Boys Night Out. I got a T-shirt and a button and a sticker. Like, I love it. So,
would you like another sticker? This is holographic.
We'll raffle this off after the talk. But one of the things I love most, and you were actually, I stood over the game. It wasn't on when I first saw it unloaded there, but the first time I got to play it, you were actually standing right there next to me. Okay.
Not awkward, right?
No, not at all. Okay. You actually asked, can I talk to you while I do this? I'm like, absolutely. Like, I'm not so focused here that I get the high score. But what I love is like the upper flipper shot into the loop, right? That was the shot I wanted to hit. And I think you told me it's like 15% success rate or something like that. I got to hit it in front of you right there. So I talked about how like we'd only just met. Like, we've been talking pinball, hanging out here.
I talked to you online first.
We'd sent some emails.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah.
And I remember like, we were looking at this as like, how can we get more and more homebrews and stuff in here? And I think that like, the trip up to the Northwest in June, like, is this a trip you'd do again?
Hell yeah. Can we see?
As far as I'm concerned,
heck yeah, kids. Don't use that type of language.
So you've got this game going here. You aspire to do another game. Do you think you would bring another game that you haven't made before?
I recommend everybody who makes a game to bring it here. It's awesome. I love it here.
So do you think you would have a new title by the time you came next year? Is that like a goal you want to hit?
I want to bring it to Schaumburg.
There you go.
Yeah.
So, we usually end up getting a trailer full of games together and carting those all the way out there.
Is this a formal invite in front of the camera, in front of everybody?
I'm saying I've volunteered in the past. If you get a game to my house, I'll commit to putting in a trailer and driving it to Chicago. So
this is a lot closer to me than Chicago.
Dude, absolutely. It's like, what, you can put it on a truck through UBID for like $200 and they'll bring it up here. Like,
I accept your invitation.
Dude, let's do it. I don't know. I mean, like I've been talking, I think, for like 3 hours straight here.
I don't have much to say. We still have 2 minutes left. We could just talk about anything you want, or not at all.
All right. So let's see. Well, I guess we can talk about so tonight. One of the things we wanted to do here for this little PinDevCon that we're doing. So we've got an event we're doing across the way here at the hotel, like 6 o'clock till whenever they kick us out of there. We're gonna have a bar. We're gonna drag some of the homebrew games over there.
What are you talking about?
We're gonna drink drinks. We're not gonna be in a super loud space. It's basically just like sit down and play homebrew games, and have community, have some engagement and stuff like that. So do you think you'd be willing to drag your game down the elevator 2 floors over to the hotel?
I accept.
And drink? All right.
Yes. Who else is in?
Okay.
Woo! Oh,
so there we go. So I think that's probably, above all, what I love most about getting together like this is like making new friends. We talked about at Expo many years ago. We had a talk to fill, and full disclosure, we learned that if you do talks, they give you free passes. So it was like, how can we get all our friends up here to do a talk? So it was like down to the last minute, we needed a talk for it. It became, making pinball, making friends. And we decided, we're going to get up there. Brian emceed it, made everybody, gave everybody the chance to like tell a story, have some fun with pinball. And that's really what I love about all this stuff is all my friends, new and old, get together, build pinball, talk about pinball, look at pinball, play pinball a little bit, and I think that's really what we want June in the Northwest to be about. So I'm so glad you're here. I'm glad I got to meet you through this. And yeah.
Thank you. This is my favorite part of the whole show. This is right here. I love playing all the homemade games here. I love it. It's my favorite part by far.
I'm glad you're here. I mean, anything else you want to tell? We got 23, 22, 21 seconds left.
No pressure. Does anybody have any questions? I love questions.
Then we're done.
Okay.
Thank you so much for coming up.
Thank you for having me.
All right.